What's going on, everybody? Hey, so I'm outside Barnes & Noble, and the reason I'm out here is I brought this with me. So what this is my residual check from the book that I wrote. I wrote my book, Soldier of Finance, back in August of 2013. Well, I wrote it a long time before that, but did not get published until 2013. So even though I wrote this book 5 years ago, I'm still getting paid, which is kind of a cool thing. But I know a lot of people are interested in, if you have a book idea, how do you actually take that idea and how do you get it published? And then most importantly, how do you get paid? And I just want to share my journey, my experience with you today. So today we're going to find out, if you have a book idea, how do you take that from idea to actually getting it into people's hands in the form of getting your book published, and how much money do you make? How do you get paid? We're gonna find out. All right, so if you stick to the end, you're gonna find out how much is in this envelope, how much do I get paid for my book residuals. Let's go check it out. All right, so after I started my blog, I had an idea of I wanted to write a book. It was one of those weird lifetime goals of just wanting to accomplish something. And one of those things I added to my to-do list, to my accomplished list, was writing a book. The only problem was I didn't really have a great book idea. I assumed it would be around money since I'm a financial planner, had my financial planning investment blog, so it only made sense. The only issue was I didn't really feel like I had that idea. I didn't have that thing that was just going to make me stand out from other popular personal finance authors. And so here's the cool thing, here's how the idea came. And the funny thing is that it came out of a moment of almost a failure, but disappointment. So after I started my blog, I was contacted by CNBC. They had found my blog, I think they had found my YouTube channel, some of my older videos, which you will not find because those have been deleted. But the cool thing about that is there was this show, I guess, that CNBC was doing, and they were trying to find independent certified financial planners, which that was me. So they flew me to New Jersey to the CNBC office to interview them. And I wish I could tell you a cool story to where I was on CNBC on this show. That didn't happen. The show ended up being canceled. But in that process, I got to meet with some executive producers, the associate producers there at CNBC. And as I was talking to the executive producer for the show, this is what she said to me. She knew everything about my background. She knew that I was a financial planner. She knew that I was in the military. And she said this comment that just stood out to me. She said, "You know what? You should write a book that talks about the soldier's discipline to investing." A light bulb moment. And right when she said that, I knew it. I knew exactly that's what I was going to do. And then sure enough, I think I ended up going to Barnes & Noble, I'm outside today. I went on Amazon and looked at titles that had to do with military and investing, and there was nothing out there. There was nothing at the time. And I thought, boom, this is my niche, this is what I'm going to do. And that's when I did it. I don't think it was 2 weeks after that trip to New Jersey that I registered the domain soldieroffinance.com, and that's when I started writing the book. So that's how I got the book idea. But obviously, just because you have an idea doesn't mean that you're going to get a book published. So let's find out exactly how did I go about getting the book published. All right, so I got this idea. I want to write a book, I want to publish a book, but how do you actually get it out there? Luckily at the time, I knew some people that had published books. I didn't really know any big time authors, but I had some friends that were able to get book deals, from some respected publishers. So I just started working my network, people that had a book deal, and just to educate me on how the process worked. Now, I also want to say, I had the option to publishing on Amazon, like a lot of people do. You have the Create Space platform where anybody that has a book that wants to get a book published, you can go to Amazon and get it done. For me though, I made the decision, I wanted to have a book that was published by a traditional publisher. And I know that whole thinking and that doesn't mean as much as it used to. But for me at the time, it meant a lot, and just because that was just a goal of mine that I had. So I had a book that I wanted to be published by a traditional publisher, and I wanted to be able to walk into a bookstore, even though there's much less of them now, but still walk into a physical bookstore and see my book on the shelf. So that's just something that I wanted, so that's why I want to go the traditional publishing route. So one of the friends that I reached out to, so they were in the military space and they had a book recently that came out, and I just reached out to them saying, hey, how did it work? How did you actually get published? And they told me that they hired a book agent, and that agent is the one that got them connected to the publisher. Let me also say though, I did cold contact several book agents to which I got zero response. Nobody responded to me, even though like I had the book idea, I had the concept, I had the blog, I had the social media platform. You know, I had a lot of good things going for me, but yet I still could not get an agent to reply back. But working my connections, I was able to get an introduction to a book agent. So through this agent, she was able to get me connected with a bunch of different publishers. Now I wish I could tell you that that was the end of this great story, that I had publishers beating down the door trying to get my book idea because they just felt like it was an awesome idea and they were gonna make millions off of the concept.
I have a good idea and no one else thinks so.
Me too!
But the reality is that every single publisher that she knew, and we're talking the big ones, Wiley, Penguin House, Random Books, like all of the big name publishers, they all said no. What you got with my book? You don't like my book? Come on. So yes, every major publisher that I was aware of said no. They just dismissed it. I can't remember which publisher it was, but one of them did say that they loved the idea, they loved the concept, but since I was a first-time author, they just felt that some of their more recognized authors that were on their platform that they were promoting, that I was just gonna get lost in the shuffle. So they almost made me a deal, but they ended up backing out and I did not get a book deal. That left me kind of sad, I'm not lying. So at this point, I'm not crying myself a river.
Now it's your turn to cry.
I'm definitely discouraged at this point. You know, like I think I've got a really good book idea. You know, people were rallying around the military. Obviously, finance is something that people are always going to struggle with, and it was just a new concept. I just thought I just thought it would be something that book publishers would be all about. So while every major publisher said no, we finally had one. We had one that said yes, and they were willing to give me a shot. Oh. So who was this publisher? Who is this publisher that actually said yes to me? So first, I'd never heard of them. The name of the publisher is called Amicom. And the first time that I heard that, I just thought, seriously, Amicom? Like that's your name? Like, you know, there's this book publishing online company called Amazon, right? Like, I thought I was being punked. But no, it turns out like they're a real-time publisher. They're based out of New York, and they typically focus more on like business books. So I think that's kind of been like their niche. And for me, like I was the first personal finance author that they were going to take a shot on. And tell me what, like that was actually something that I thought was cool, right? Like this is something that was kind of out of their comfort zone, things that they really didn't focus on, but yet there was something about my book idea and concept and just me that they were willing to take a shot on. And there's definitely, you know, that made me feel good. So, you know, they were taking a shot on a first-time author and what they were looking to do. And that's when the negotiations began. Now, the cool thing is, like, that's what the good thing of having an agent, they can work out all those details for you. I would tell you this, like, I didn't really care about how much I got paid. You know, a lot of times book authors, I mean, their advances, like what they get paid up front is what they base a lot of the revenue on that book, you know, and the more books that you write, the more popular that is, the more that advance is. As a first-time author, I didn't know if I was gonna get paid anything. Like I said, I was just hoping to get a book deal and just to get my book published. But the fact that they were willing to pay me something, that definitely made me feel good. So knowing what I know now, I probably could have got more money up front, but as I said, like I was just excited that somebody was willing to publish my book. So how much did I get paid up front? I actually forgot. I had to go and find my contract to look up to see how much they paid me. So the upfront was $3,000 that I got paid up front. So I got a check for $3,000 just for writing the book. Over and above that, I got paid royalties, and these all differ, but I think mine was like 10% off the first 5,000 copies sold, 12.5% for the next 5,000, so on and so forth. I don't really know, and this is kind of sad, I really don't know how much I get paid. Like, if somebody were to go into Barnes & Noble right now and buy a book, I don't really know what that is. That's kind of embarrassing to admit, but it really wasn't one of the focuses, as I said, of getting that book published. But why I'm kind of kicking myself, because I do know of first-time authors that got paid more than that. I had another friend of mine, she was a first-time author. I think she got paid 10 grand, for her book. And we had about the same social media following. She was more focused like in the business entrepreneur niche, so maybe that's why she got paid more. But nonetheless, like I thought, I don't know. It's one of those things where like, yeah, I was happy to get paid, and then after the fact, when I know that other people were getting paid more, like, oh, I wish I would have negotiated harder, I wish I got paid more. At the end of the day, I was just happy to have the book published. I guess one of the things I want to say that I didn't really mention here at the beginning is, why did I want to write a book? What was the whole point? One, like I said earlier, it was to get that checklist, right? To get it done. But what I also know is that writing a book, for many people, like that's just, it's a business card. It's their way of showing others that you have an idea, you have a concept that is worth getting out there because you got it published. And the funny thing that I realized after the fact was, I was a certified financial planner. I had my blog, but there was a lot of media outlets that wouldn't give me the time of day because I was just a CFP, I was just a blogger. But the second that I had author as one of my titles, but not just the fact that I was an author, but I was an author that I was published by a traditional publisher, meaning that I didn't think I had a good idea, so I put it out on Amazon. It means that I had a good idea that somebody else verified, and they were willing to put money and resources into getting it into bookstores. So that was one of those cool side benefits I didn't realize until after the book was done. All right, well, I'm about ready to get out of this rain and get dry, and I know you're probably curious to find out how much I got paid in residuals from my book. Now that you know I got paid $3,000 up front, you probably realize, okay, this is probably not gonna be a huge check by any stretch. Either way, you're probably curious, I'm curious, because it's been a while since I've received one of these, and yeah, let's go check it out. Back at the house, got the statement here, getting ready to look at that and find out how much did I make in residuals. But real quick, I just want to share like some of the cool things that you just don't expect whenever you publish a book. Now, that's one of the reasons I alluded to, it's a business card, it's a foot in the door for so many opportunities. But you really don't know those opportunities until you're a published author, and they just kind of become presented to you. And I know like in the beginning, I started working with a website called newsmax.com, and they loved the book, they're all about it, and they ended up buying 5,000 copies of the book, which just blew me away. I mean, most authors, like if you sell 1,000 books, like most first-time authors that have no audience, that have never promoted a book, like I think I read this somewhere, if you sell 1,000 books in the first year, like that's good. Like that's really good. Now for me, selling 1,000 books in that first year, just because of the blog that I had, the social media following, I would probably chalk that up as being a big fat fail. But to be able to sell 5,000 books to one purchaser, I mean, that is awesome. And there's so many different opportunities, like, being a contributor to Forbes, CNBC, Entrepreneur, Business Insider. A lot of these, it wasn't just the blog, it was being a published author. I know for me personally, one of the cool things was that this was, I think it was 2 years after the book was published, I was contacted by a journalist from USA Today that wanted to write a feature story on my book. Now, the cool thing about that whole experience was that my dad, growing up, like he always read the USA Today, and he used to buy the USA Today every year on my birthday. So every year on my birthday, he had the USA Today going back from the day that I was born. And I always just had this special connection with the USA Today because of that. So when they reached out to me and wanted to write, not just like an interview, but like a feature interview, a feature article in the finance section, and it was on the front page of the finance section, Like that was just an amazing experience. And unfortunately, my dad had long passed away, so he wasn't able to witness that. But I know that he saw that, up from heaven. So, thanks, Dad, for blessing me, and obviously thank God for what he's done. So that's just some of the cool things. But once again, the cool thing about being a published author is that never goes away. That's never taken away from you. So even though I've only wrote one book, like I'm able to ride the coattails from that. And it's just been awesome. What's also awesome, and I know you won't believe this, but I'm actually kind of a horrible promoter. Like I'm pretty good promoting videos and the blog, but when it came to the book, I did a lot of guest posts. I did a lot of podcast interviews. I did what it took to get the book out there and to sell as many copies as I could. But after that 6-month blitz and the year after that, after the book was released, I just kind of got burnt out. I got tired of talking about it. And I thought, you know what, I've got my blog, I got my social media following, if somebody likes me and they want to pick up the book, then let them pick it up. But it wasn't until I started doing YouTube again, really just putting a lot of effort into producing video content like you're watching today, I started to see books increase. And one way you can do that is through Amazon. You can log on to Amazon.com, or you can log into the author portal of Amazon, and you can see your book sales for the week or for the previous week. And you can look at the chart and clearly see that right around when I started doing more YouTube videos again and just getting more views, all of a sudden book sales went up. Now I'm not selling anything like Harry Potter or any big novels like that, but still, we saw a 4 to 5x increase just because I'm doing YouTube videos, and I'm not even really promoting it that hard. Until now, you better buy my book. So thank you for everybody that has been watching these YouTube videos, and for those that actually have purchased the book. That means the world to me. I put a lot in time and effort into getting that thing out there. The fact that you made the monetary commitment, and two, just the time commitment to read the book and read, the words that are now on paper, just sharing like my journey and my experience. Props to you. All right, so now you understand how I got the book idea, how I got the book agent, how I got it published, how much money I've made. Now it's time to find out how much did I make in trails and residuals from my book. So let's find out what the answer is. Drum roll, please. All right, so let's break this down. So this is for the royalty statement for the period, basically for the end of December. I get these every 6 months, so that's when I get these. The check is actually not included in here. They always send out the report first, and then I get the check. I don't know if it's direct deposited or shortly thereafter, but I think you'll see here why I don't keep track of it all that much. All right, so it looks like we had electronic sales 8, special sales 600, trade sales 493, foreign sales 18. Give it up to you foreigners buying my book. Then we had a few people return the book. Why are you returning my book? It's like $7. Seriously, is it that bad? Just kidding, I still love you. All right, so anyway, royalty earnings for this period is $642.25. What? Hashtag baller. And just in case you don't believe me, there it is. Can you see it? 642 bucks. Boom. All right, so yeah, 650 bucks. Maybe I made that for the first half. So all in all, $1,300 is what I made this year just from direct book sales. Now, that is not life-changing. That is not, maybe I can go out and buy some In-N-Out Burger, a few of those, because I love me some In-N-Out Burger. But other than that, for many, writing a book is not about the royalties. It can be about the advance or the upfront bonus. $3,000 was not a game changer for me. But what I can't put a price tag on is what opportunities have been presented to me that wouldn't have had I not been a published author. And I wish I could give you a price tag and just to show how much revenue has been generated because of that. Only I can tell you is that it has been worth it. To be able to see my book be published, see my book be published in a foreign language, everybody that's read the book and messaged me. I've had people send me pictures of reading my book while they're in combat. I've had there's a Fort Hood down in Texas. There are military bases where people are buying my book and passing them out to soldiers just so they can be better in tune with their finances. These are the things that make the book writing, the book publishing, and just make it all worth it. It's really having an impact in changing people's lives. And obviously there's a nice monetary benefit that comes from that too. So I can't complain about that either. So that's it. That's the backstory about Soldier of Finance, how it came to be, how I make some money off of it. Not a lot, but nonetheless, it's something I'm still very proud of. And if you have picked up a copy, thank you. Appreciate it. If you haven't yet, come on now, what you waiting on? Pick this up, it may change your life. All right, so if you like this video, why don't you do me a favor, give me one of these, or both of these. Give me a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, come join the Good Financial Sense of Jeff Rose family, because I like producing content that is going to be impactful and hopefully make a difference in your life, personally, professionally, and financially. Until next time, peace. So I just, yep, that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. All right, back to the house, got the, what is this thing again? Residuals? Whatever. Cut.